we want to look at how to implement a sample site. So when you have a site that you're going to build, one thing that you have to always consider is the design. Consider your planning. Planning is very, very important in the design of an interface. So with me, I have a sample interface or a sample layout that I have planned, and it shows the way I'm going to be able to position content on the page. So I have planned that on top I will have a banner, which will be an image. Precisely, you could as well identify it with the dimensions for you, that particular image. Then below it I will have the navigation menu, which will have home, about us, contact us, and then the products that I am hopeful to be able to attach all the downloads there. Then I'll have an image and its description on the right. Then I will have the footer section at the bottom. So that is my plan. That is my layout that I would wish to come up with when I'm using Dreamweaver. And I right away, so I'll have Dreamweaver pulled out, and then I'll start designing. However, there are different methods that you can use. You can choose to use Bootstrap, or you can choose to use CSS, plain CSS, and you can as well use the tables. So for today, we're going to learn how to position content on a web page using a table. So all you need to do is to have your interface created, and all that I need is either clicking at the insert on the right side, then switch from that and then select HTML, then click at table. So the table is going to help us to position content precisely where we have already planned that content to be. Click at the Dreamweaver, choose insert and select table. Alternatively, click at insert on the top and then select table. Any of the two can work. Just click at it once, and the table dialog box is going to appear. In the table dialog box that appears, please make sure that you indicate how many rows and how many columns you need. Let's look at this. When you look at this interface, the layout, you realize that I will have one column, this is one row, 2 rows, 3 and 4, then 5 and 6. So we have 6 rows. So number of rows, enter 6. How about the columns? Columns, I'll have this is the first column, possibly have the second column, the third column. Okay, 3 columns can work. 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 and 5. But for now, let's use 1, 2, that space, and 3. Alternatively, we can as well use 1 and 2. So 2 columns will work for us precisely for now. So let's select 2 columns. Reduce this to 2. Then width, the table width, we are going to leave it blank. Reason we want this table to automatically adjust, and we can set this either to pixels or percentages. We shall see how best that can be used also. Then we'll have the thickness of this table. We want it to be set to 1. The padding, the thickness means how your table is going to be visible, how thick is the border lines. And then we look at the cell padding. The cell padding means what is the distance between the border, the table cell border, and the beginning of your text. Okay, so it's not good to always make sure that the text touches the borders of the table border. So leave some space, let the text be hanging within the cell, but it's not touching the borders for visibility and clarity. Otherwise, if you let the table text touch the border, the content will be squeezed. We need enough space within our interface for clarity. Then we need also to look at the cell spacing. The cell spacing is the space between this one cell and another cell. So that cell spacing is also going to be needed. Then we have this header. The headers, we basically, when you select this, means that the left side will have the headers and the rest of the text will just be treated as content. Then we shall have the headers on top. If you want the headers both on top and left, then we select this. For now, I'm going to select none and click at OK. So the table will get drawn on my interface. That's my table. And when you check the code has actually written itself automatically. So let's switch back to live, or we actually switch to design. Okay, so you can as well change the width. So I'm going to pull these holders, pull that horizontally. So it's going to be taking up that space, and then pull it down. All right, now let's take a look at what we had planned. We have one image occupying all the 2 cells. So this is what we normally call span. So we have this cell and that cell. We need it as one. So we're going to merge them together. So I'm going to click and hold, then move my mouse to enclose the 2 cells, then release. And then at the bottom, we have the section of where we see something that looks like a table. And we have a small button there. Click at it once to merge the 2 cells into one. So that border is broken. This cell is going to be our cell for the image banner. And let's color it. Let's give it a color. Okay, so we go for the background color. Make sure that the cursor is in there. And then we set its background color. BG means background. So click at it. I'm going to set its background color as gray and press enter to confirm. Okay, that is done. And we can give it enough space. Okay, maybe you can let the word float. So highlight the word, and we ensure that we align it. We have 2 formats of alignment. We have the horizontal alignment, meaning horizontally, how is it aligned? We want it in the center horizontally. So horizontal alignment, click at default and select center. Okay, there we are. Then the second column is going to be our menu, navigation menu. So we shall have the navigation menu. Just select the two cells and merge them at the bottom. So click at that button to merge the two cells. So this is going to be our navigation menu. So we shall have words like home, space, full colon. I'm going to make things as simple as possible. 2 full colons, space. Then we shall have about us, space, 2 full colons, space, and then we shall have contact us. Maybe have the products first, full colon, space, and then contact us. All right. So that is a sample menu that we shall possibly work with. Then the next row, we look at an image. So when we look at this image, our image is going to be at that point. So we shall click at that point, and we want this image to occupy 2 cells. So I'm clicking at that, click and hold left mouse button, and then move it down to enclose the second row. Let's actually have it occupying 3. And then we merge down so that it's 1. And then we shall have the image here. Then here we can as well resize these rows, the size of the width. So I'm moving my cursor at that point, click and hold, and then move the cursor this side. So the top one is going to be our title. Title here. Okay, and then we have the description here. Then at the bottom layer, we shall have a summary. We shall have maybe comments, we shall have the likes, okay, likes will be there. Then we shall have comments, we shall have the dislikes, and then we shall have the comments. Then we need these ones to be on the right side. So we shall highlight them and we align them horizontally to the right. And then vertically this time, realize that they are aligned horizontally, but we want them to be at the baseline. Okay, so we want this to be really at the base. So what we shall possibly do is we highlight it, and then still this time not horizontal but vertical. Vertical, we want it to be at the bottom. Okay, so that's a better design, and we shall basically have text here. Okay, so we shall have, let me just copy this text, Ctrl C to copy, and then that text will come here, Ctrl V to paste. All right, and then this will actually be a title. So this there, the background color, I'm changing it to maybe black, or Okay, some bit of that color, so you can as well move this and select a proper color that will fit for your display. Alright. However, you don't need to simply select colors anyhow. You need also to be sensitive with your color selection. Your color selection is going to be depicting the organization that you're designing this interface for, or this website for. So the moment you just pick colors anyhow, you might end up creating something that is not supposed to be depicting what an organization is all about. So you need to be sensitive with your color selection to avoid any kind of misfortunes and misunderstandings or miscommunication from the organization that you're creating the site for. So I'm going to merge this to be my footer. So shall have the footer here. So this is the footer section. Okay, so I'll have basically this part as let me just put it to black or to dark gray. Press enter. Now this text, just lining it center, vertically center, and this is at the center, bottom. Okay, so our design is done. Let's save it and make a preview of how it looks like. So saving is just as good as clicking at file and then click at save as. So when you're saving your file as, you need to be decisive on where you want to save the file. So as long as you want to save your file somewhere, always ensure that all your files are in one folder. So I double click my files, and inside my files, that's where I want to save this file. So I click at it, and under file name, because this would be my first page that I want to be able to see as long as someone visits my site, I'll create it and call it index dot, never forget the dot html. All right. Alternatively, you can make sure that the save as type is set to HTML docs. Okay, but never miss a site. All sites, the first page has to be the first page that someone has to see. Please make it or name it index.html or home.html, and then click at save. So as long as you have saved, let's make a preview. File is there. Double click to open it, and then you realize that I have the index there. So when I double click to open it, I'm expecting to see exactly what I have designed, but I think it's going to be on the left side of my screen, of my display. And there it is. So that is the design that or the layout that I have created using HTML or using Dreamweaver. However, it is on the left side of my screen. I don't want people to see, or my end users to see it on the left side of the screen. I want it to be in the middle of my screen. So I'm going back to Dreamweaver, and let me just hide this away, get more space. So ensure that you click at the table, click at the border of the table. And what you are interested in doing, I am interested in aligning the whole table to the center of my document. So align default, change it to align center, and then save changes made, Control S. Then go back to your browser. And then click at the refresh button. There we are. So let's conclude with this chapter by removing the borders. We don't want our clients to see the borders, so that they see something nice and clean. So I'm removing the borders. So still the border is selected. This time around, remove the border, set it to 0, press enter, and your borders are cleaned. Okay, then we have this cell space. See, have this cell, that line, have some middle kind of space. We want also to remove that kind of space. So we'll go to the cell space and set it to 0. And press enter, so it becomes one complete line. And then I go back to my browser and refresh. This time around, I'm expecting to see the content minus the borders. So I have the content. If I have pressed something as an image, I should be having this content displayed minus the borders. The client doesn't want to see the borders. All it needs is the layout. And that is what I have for my clients at a time. Please consider subscription to my channel. Click at the notification button and click at that bell for more videos. Hope to see you in the next chapter.